The crunch of snow underfoot, the biting February air, a wrecked car, a shattered windshield, and a trail of footprints leading into the vast, unforgiving New Hampshire wilderness. On February 9, 2004, just outside a small, desolate town, Maura Murray seemingly ceased to exist. One moment, a young woman with a future, the next, a ghost in the headlights. What happened in those critical minutes? And why has the truth remained buried beneath 2 decades of theories and shadows? Tonight, Arcane Echo delves into the chilling disappearance of Maura Murray. To understand the mystery of February 9th, we first need to understand Maura herself. She wasn't just a face on a missing person poster. She was a complex, driven young woman. A West Point cadet, a star athlete, and a nursing student at UMass Amherst. But beneath the surface of achievement, there were cracks. Academic pressures, personal struggles, and a recent car accident in her father's vehicle just days before she vanished. There were allegations of credit card fraud, a strange, emotional breakdown at her campus security job, and a cryptic phone call she received just before she packed her bags. Maura Murray was a person at a crossroads, carrying a weight we can only speculate about. She was not just a victim. She was a person in motion, heading towards an unknown destination, both literally and figuratively. Let's reconstruct the timeline of that fateful day, Monday, February 9th, 2004. In the early afternoon, Maura emails her professors and her work supervisor, stating she needs to take a week off for a family emergency, a death in the family. This was a lie. There was no death. She then uses her debit card at an ATM, withdrawing $280. She buys about $40 worth of alcohol, including Kahlua, Bailey's, and a box of wine. With a packed car, containing textbooks, birth control pills, and even printed out MapQuest directions to the Berkshires and Burlington, Vermont, she gets on the road and drives north. Around 7:27 p.m., on a dark, winding stretch of Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire, something goes wrong. A local resident hears a loud thud and sees Maura's black Saturn sedan wedged against a snowbank, its airbags deployed. This is where the mystery deepens. The first person on the scene is a school bus driver named Butch Atwood. He pulls over and asks Maura if she is okay and if she needs him to call the police. She appears dazed but uninjured and refuses help, claiming she's already called AAA. She asks him not to call the police. We now know there was no cell service in that area, so her claim of calling AAA was impossible. Atwood, concerned but respecting her wishes, drives home just 100 yards away and calls the police himself. The call is logged at 7:43 p.m. This is the critical window. From the moment Butch Atwood left Maura at her car to the moment the first police officer arrived, only about 10 minutes passed. 10 minutes. In that tiny sliver of time, Maura Murray vanished. When Trooper John Smith arrived at the scene at 7:46 p.m., the car was there, locked. The windshield was cracked, and a red stain, possibly from the wine she bought, was on the door and seat. But Maura was gone. There were no footprints leading into the dense woods, only tracks on the road that quickly faded. The opportunity to find her, to understand what happened, was lost almost as soon as it began. The initial investigation was a landscape of confusion. Inside the car, investigators found Maura's belongings, but not her wallet, keys, or cell phone. They found a box of wine, a Coke bottle that smelled of alcohol, and rags stuffed into the tailpipe, a detail that has fueled endless debate. Was she trying to prevent exhaust fumes? Or was this a sign of an older, smoking engine? A phone call made to her boyfriend, Billy, left a voicemail of what sounded like a person crying. But was it Maura? The signal was traced to a calling card, adding another layer of ambiguity. When Maura's family arrived, they were met with a baffling scene and what they felt was a lack of urgency from law enforcement, who initially treated it as a simple case of a young woman wanting to get away for a few days. As days turned into weeks, theories began to sprout like weeds in the cracks of the case. The most straightforward explanation is a voluntary disappearance. Was Maura, overwhelmed by her personal problems, simply looking for a fresh start? Did she plan to run away and start a new life, perhaps in Canada? Her packed car and the lie about a family death certainly point to a premeditated departure. This theory offers a glimmer of hope, the idea that Maura is out there, somewhere, living a different life. But for her family, who knew her best, this scenario has always seemed unlikely. Then there's the darker, More terrifying possibility: foul play. The area where Maura vanished is remote, a perfect hunting ground for a predator. Could she have been abducted by a local? This theory gained traction with speculation about individuals in the area with violent histories. Or was it a crime of opportunity? A passing driver who saw a vulnerable young woman alone on a dark road. This theory posits that Maura was not running from her life, but that her life was tragically cut short by a chance encounter with the wrong person at the worst possible time. And what about the scenarios that fall somewhere in between? What if a second car was involved? Perhaps another driver picked her up, offering help, and something went wrong. A tragic accident, a panic cover-up. This hit-and-run theory could explain the lack of evidence of a struggle at the scene. Then there's the controversial yellow school bus theory. A contractor working nearby reported seeing a young woman matching Maura's description jogging or running away from the accident scene just minutes after it happened, shortly before a school bus, not Butch Atwood's, was seen parked oddly in the road. Could this have been the real moment of abduction, a staged event disguised as a breakdown? As we dig deeper, the case becomes a maze of conflicting details and frustrating dead ends. Cadaver dogs brought in weeks after the disappearance reportedly hit on a scent inside a house just down the road from the crash site. What did that mean? The residents were investigated and cleared, but the scent remains an unsettling question. Searches by tracking dogs indicated Maura's scent traveled about 100 yards east on the road from her car, then simply stopped, suggesting she got into another vehicle. Whose vehicle? For years, her family and a legion of online sleuths have pored over every piece of data. From the missing 0.1 miles on her car's trip odometer to the significance of a red truck seen in the area. Each clue seems to lead only to more questions. The most profound impact of this mystery is the unending pain it has caused the Murray family. For 2 decades, her father, Fred Murray, has relentlessly searched for his daughter, combing the woods, challenging law enforcement, and refusing to let her memory fade. The case has also become a cultural phenomenon, spawning countless podcasts, documentaries, and online communities. These platforms have kept Maura's story alive, but they have also created a whirlwind of speculation, misinformation, and sometimes hurtful accusations. The disappearance of Maura Murray marked a turning point in the world of true crime, demonstrating the power and the peril of crowdsourced investigations. 20 years, 2 decades of unanswered questions. The Maura Murray case remains a chilling testament to how quickly a life can unravel and how deeply shadows can conceal the truth. Was it a calculated escape, a tragic accident covered up, or something far more sinister lurking in the New Hampshire woods? The official narratives often leave more questions than answers, and in the eerie silence surrounding Maura's fate, we find echoes of a much larger, more unsettling pattern. In every unsolved mystery, in every flicker of forgotten evidence, there exists a truth waiting to be unearthed. Here at Arcane Echo, we believe in shedding light on those hidden corners, in seeking justice for the vanished, and in ensuring their stories are never truly silenced. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown.